All right, guys, we're back. Hey, the first presidential debate of 2020 just finished, and I don't think for this one I'm gonna have a winner or a loser. I will say that Joe Biden, man, he woke up. Yeah, creepy, sleepy Uncle Joe, man, he was fired up. He was fired up, man. Told the president of the United States to shut up on national TV. Never in my life would I've ever imagined, man, presidential candidates going up against the president of the United States and telling him to shut his mouth. It was so disrespectful, but it was also necessary in the moment because obviously 45 was just going off at the gums, man. And it was good, man. It was good. I mean, I think that, whatever President Trump had with his team, I think it worked. There was moments where it kind of brought me back to when McCain was going against Obama, and McCain would get so angry and so frustrated that he ended up losing the debates, and obviously he lost the presidency at that moment. I don't think it happened, that way tonight. I think that everybody that was watching, if you had, I guess you say, a leveled head about you, and you kind of wanted to hear from the candidates, you did want Trump to just be quiet, but he wouldn't stop. Nobody got the time that they were supposed to have. The allotted time kept going over. They were supposed to get 2 minutes of respond time and then a minute of rebuttal, and it didn't go out like that. It was a freak show, a circus show, circus act, whatever you want to call it, man. It was complete, utter chaos. But damn, was it good entertainment. And I think that's what changed, probably right around the time, that, presidential elections were televised, and Nixon had a sickness going on about him, and instead of the cameraman giving uh, giving Nixon less time on camera, he zoomed in a little bit more, put more lighting on him, and it left Nixon looking like he was knocking on death's door. And then you had a young, beautiful, um, energized JFK on TV that just took the election away. So it was the same situation here, man. Joe Biden seemed to be in a lighter shade, either the lighter shade with his makeup, and obviously with President Trump, he has that orange makeup that he puts on, that tanning cream, and it was moments where his orange, especially when his blood pressure started going up, because he was so infuriated by some of the things that Joe Biden was saying, telling him to shut up, telling him to keep his mouth shut, telling him that he killed hundreds and thousands and millions of American people, and that he's not equipped. Pretty much just going after the pride of the president, man, because President Trump's a very prideful person. And yeah, he started getting really red, especially around the eyes, man, and the cheeks. It was crazy to see him like that. But as time went on, I don't know what that noise is. As time went on, it seemed as if the moderator lost complete control. 15 minutes in, it was already a circus act. But the moderator, ended up losing control of the debate, and then lost his composure because he had to actually raise his voice and try to get control of two adults inside of the room, man. If you were going to give somebody, as far as for politics and presidential debates, I think that you would give this to Joe Biden. And the reason why is because you got more information pertaining to the debate topics than you got from President Trump. But if you wanted to score it on who got underneath the person's skin, Trump won, man. If that was what his team decided for him to do, say, listen, man, all you got to do is just keep interrupting, talk about Joe Biden's son, be very disrespectful to the dead, and get Sleepy Joe to wake up. He woke up a giant, man. And Trump definitely won as far as if he stuck towards what his team wanted him to do. But it didn't do anything for the American people. We still don't know, what President Trump's plan is to replace Obamacare. We don't know, when we're gonna, get some better ideas as far as for climate change and how, America's gonna stand at the forefront and lead, that charge. We're still not in the Paris Agreement. We're still not believing science. There was no answers, man. Biden was able to talk to the people a little bit more. And his actual sentences were actually a little coherent. Now, as the night went on, it got worse and worse. He started slurring the speech, started to, lose his train of thought. And I think that's what really frustrated, Joe Biden. I think that's where he was just like, enough is enough, man. Shut up, man. And I couldn't believe it. Still can't believe it to this day. I mean, I'll talk about that probably till the election is over with, and then into the next debate too. Then for the next 4 years that are coming up, and everybody's going to talk about that. Seriously, man, to tell somebody to shut up, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. And there was this moment where the narrator came on and he was like, I'm going to ask a question about racism. And he asked this directly to President Trump. And this was mind blowing. He asked President Trump right now on national TV, will you say for the record, that white supremacists, and some other things, he said some other things that I never really recognized the wording, but the president repeated it. He said something about Proud Boys. And I don't know what a Proud Boy is. But he said, Proud Boys stand by and stand up and stand by. But he never ever said anything about, systemic racism and, in any of that stuff, you know what I'm saying? So that was pretty crazy to see. But other than that, I think that it went pretty good, Yeah, what you got? But as far as the rest of the debate went, it went pretty well. But putting Trump on that, I guess you can say just like right out in the open and asking him those questions, and he froze. He literally, to see the president of the United States freeze, and he froze for about 2.5 to 3 seconds. So that he can gather his thoughts. But then his face got so red. I was like, wow, man. Like you actually got him flustered, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, man, this is crazy to see that. But he didn't even stand up against systemic racism, man. He didn't stand up against white supremacy. And we know that, we know how it works, like a lot of his base is that. That's the truth about it, because there's a lot of racist, white supremacists out in America, man. There's hundreds of them, thousands of them. They're everywhere. They're inside of your military. They're inside of your clubs. They're your vice presidents, your presidents, your COOs, your CEOs, your CFOs. They're everywhere. They're in NASA. They're, in NASCAR. They're in the NBA. They're in the NFL. They're in the NHL. MLB, all that stuff, man. So, yeah, it was just crazy, man. But it was a good debate. I think that, with everything going on with COVID, I think the American people needed something, to entertain them. Dancing with the Stars, bringing, Tyra Banks back is not going to do it. You need to see this politics, this political arena has to entertain you. It has to. And they did a great job about that. Now, here's the thing. After tonight's debate, for me at least, I don't think none of the candidates are what we're looking for. So there is an option for a third presidential candidate. It should be on the ticket whenever you vote. So you might want to start looking into that, and maybe, just maybe, at the end of this, maybe this will change politics and change America, because this two-party system hasn't been working. Just be honest with yourself. Nothing has changed in 60 years, 70 years, 80 years, 100 years. Nothing's changed. We're still doing and talking about the same things. Systemic racism, screaming for equality while poverty runs rampant. And the only thing that will change that is when another party gets in new ideas, fresh ideas. So that's just something to think about. I'm happy for Joe Biden, because for like the last 6 months, 7 months, man, Joe has been having a really tough time. You know, slurring his speech, had everybody worried. But I think tonight was pretty good showing. And then now he just has to depend on his VP, you know, which I have no hope in her. But that's the only thing that's going to be left for them to have success, if they're going to have success. I'm not going to tell you who to vote for. All I can tell you is just to vote because it's important. That's the only thing it is. Just make sure that you vote. If you can't do anything else in life, just make sure that you vote. And ow, that hurt. But yeah, just make sure you vote. That's your right. Make sure you exercise that right and get out there and vote. As far as for Trump, man, if you ever listen to this, or your party ever listens to this, or your team, it's like this, man. You got to calm down, and you have got to give facts to the American people. You're going to have the people that are going to vote for you. You're going to have, you know, your party. You're going to have the people that support you. But in order to get back those states that you're losing, according to the polls, you need to give facts. There doesn't need to be any pettiness. There doesn't need to be any Moscow. There doesn't need to be talking about Joe Biden's son. Certain things people aren't going to go for. You know, no matter how much you support the military or support, you know, stock market, you gotta calm down, man. You really do. You know, I'm not even gonna lie to you. I was a little embarrassed myself, man. But we're out of here, guys. Take a good care for yourself. Be well. Be kind to one another, and make sure you subscribe and comment. Right here.